2011. Number 4. The Nobel Peace Prize in Literature began in what year? Okay, so it was 1901. Number 5. What was the full name of Kathy Bates' character in Titanic? The full name. Okay, so her first and last name was Molly Brown. Question 6. Which mountain range separates Asia and Europe? Okay, so I hope I get this pronunciation right. It is the Ural Mountains, Ural. Number 7. Who is known as the father of computing? Okay, so it is Charles Babbage. Number 8. A nest for a large bird of prey is called a what? A nest for a large bird of prey is called a what? Okay, so I will spell it. There's 2 things it's called. An eyrie or an airy. E-Y-R-I-E or A-E-R-I-E. So eerie or airy perhaps. Number 9. What was the name of the ship on which Charles Darwin travelled to the Galapagos Islands? Do you know the name of the ship? Okay, so it was the HMS Beagle. Question 10. What is the former name for the country Ethiopia? Okay, so it is Abyssinia. Question 11. Which philosopher wrote Critique of Pure Reason? Okay, so it was Immanuel Kant. Question 12. Jeff Bridges has won 1 Oscar for Best Actor as of 2025. What is the name of the movie he won the Oscar for? Okay, so it is called Crazy Heart, and it was released in 2009. Or, I think he got the Oscar in 2009. Number 13. What does USB stand for? USB. Okay, so USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. Question 14. The city of Grand Rapids in Michigan is served by an airport named after what US president? Okay, so it is Gerald Ford. so it was 1877. Question 17. Who discovered the moons of Jupiter? Okay, so it was Galileo. Question 18. What was the first country to grant women the right to vote? Okay, so it was New Zealand in 1893. Bonus points for the year, of course. Question 19. What is the only sea on Earth with no coastline? Which sea has no coastline? Okay, so it is the Sargasso Sea. Question 20. In the video game Chrono Trigger, who is the inventor of the teleporter that causes the time travel event? Okay, so it is Luca Ashtia. Question 21. The classic 1980 movie Raging Bull is based on the life of what real-life boxer? Okay, so it is Jake LaMotta. Question 22. Which rare astronomical event occurs when Mercury or Venus passes directly between Earth and the Sun? Which rare astronomical event occurs when Mercury or Venus passes directly between Earth and the Sun? Okay, so it is called a transit. Number 23. What is the capital of Brunei? Okay, so the capital of Brunei is Bandar Seri Begawan. Question 24. Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro were the first two actors to win an Oscar for playing the same character. Who is the character? Okay, so it is Vito Corleone in the Godfather franchise. Number 25. What is the smallest country in South America by land area? Okay, so it is Suriname. Question 26. Which English monarch signed the Magna Carta in 1215? Okay, so it was King John. Number 27. Who wrote the epic poem Paradise Lost? Okay, so it was John Milton. Number 28. As of 2025, 2 countries have won the FIFA World Cup once: England so it is Spain. Number 29. The official national flags of Monaco, Turkey, and Georgia all share the same flag colours. What are the colours? Okay, so it is red and white. Number 30. What island is the largest in the Mediterranean Sea? Okay, so it is Sicily. Number 31. What is Batman's butler's first and last name? Okay, so it is Alfred Pennyworth. Question 32. In 2001, A Space Odyssey, what is the name of the ship's AI? Okay, so it is HAL 9000. Question 33. She's So Unusual was the debut album of who? She's So Unusual. Okay, so it was Cyndi Lauper. Question 34. Art Deco is associated with what two decades? Okay, so it is the 20s and the 30s. Question 35. Who hosted the Summer Olympic Games in 1952? Okay. It was Helsinki, Finland. Number 36. What author created the fictional detective Auguste Dupin, precursor to Sherlock Holmes? What author created the fictional detective Auguste Dupin, the precursor to Sherlock Holmes? Okay, so it was Edgar Allan Poe. Number 37. Cordelia, Edmund, and the Earl of Gloucester are notable characters in what play? Cordelia, Edmund, and the Earl of Gloucester. Okay, so they are notable characters in King Lear. Question 38. Amateur golfers from the UK, Ireland, and the USA compete every other year for what? Okay, so it is the Walker Trophy. Number 39. What novel begins with the line, "Call me Ishmael"? Okay. So it is Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Number 40. What is the first name of the painter Renoir? Okay, so it Question 42. The Devon Rex, the Scottish Fold, and the Burman are all what? Okay, so they are all breeds of cat. Question 43. Jack, Simon, Piggy, and Roger are four of the characters in what book? Okay, so it is Lord of the Flies. Question 44. A Series of Unfortunate Events is a film based on a series of books by the author Lemony Snicket. However, that is their pen name. What is their real name? Okay, so it is Daniel Handler. Question 45. Which Pokemon was designed first? Okay, so it was Rhydon, which is very interesting because Rhydon is number 112 in the Pokédex. Question 46. Which African river crosses the Tropic of Capricorn twice? Okay, so it is the Limpopo River. Question 47. Which ancient civilization built the city of Carthage? Okay, so it was the Phoenicians. Question 48. There are two artists credited with creating Cubism: Picasso and who else? Okay, so I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. It is Braqe, B-R-A-Q-U-E. Question 49. What instrument is Yo-Yo Ma famous for playing? Okay, so they are famous for playing the cello. Now I'm going to give you different bands. I'd like you to let me know which of these artists was formed first. Okay? The Who, Rush, Deep Purple, and Pink Floyd. Which one was founded first? The Who, Rush, Deep Purple, Pink Floyd. Okay, so it was The Who. And if you're curious, I'll give you the years. The Who was 1964, Rush was 1968, Deep Purple was 1968, and Pink Floyd was 1965. Number 51. We just passed the halfway point. What was Stephen King's second published book, released in 1975? Okay, so it is Salem's Lot. Question 52. Which artists as of 2025 is the only one to receive any Grammys? Guns N' Roses, Muse, The Who, Queens of the Stone Age, The Cure, and ZZ Top. Guns N' Roses, Muse, The Who, Queens of the Stone Age, The Cure, ZZ Top. Only one has won any Grammys at all as of 2025. Okay, so it is Muse, and I think they've won two. Question 53. What element has the highest melting point? Okay, so it is tungsten. Question 54. Who wrote Les Miserables? Okay, so it was Victor Hugo. Question 55. Which country won the first ever FIFA World Cup in 1930? Okay, so it was Uruguay. Question 56. In which sport would you find the terms stale fish and mule kick used? Stale fish, mule kick. What sport? Okay, so it is snowboarding. Question 57. What was the first web browser called? Okay, so it was called World Wide Web. Question 58. What is the name of Princess Leia's home planet in Star Wars? Okay, so it is Alderaan. Question 59. Mount Kilimanjaro is located in what country? Okay, so it is Tanzania. Question 60. What part of the cell contains the genetic material DNA? What part of the cell contains the genetic material DNA? Okay, so it is the nucleus. Question 61. How many keys are on a standard piano? Okay, so there are 88. Question 62. What is the airport related to the code LGW? LGW. Okay, so it is London Gatwick. Question 63. Bart's Clouser, Lena Tycoon, and Galef Baldessian are all characters in what video game? Bards Klauser, Lena Tycoon, Galef Baldessian. What video game? Okay, so it is Final Fantasy V. Question 64. The Corinna Daggerwing, the Common Beak, the Morning Cloak, and the Pink Glass Wing are all types of what? Okay, so it is butterfly. Question 65. What was the first feature-length CGI animated movie? Okay, so it was Toy Story in 1995. Question 66. As of 2025, who has played Dracula and Sherlock Holmes on film? Okay, so it is Sir Christopher Lee. Question 67. In the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, what does the word fuss mean in the dragon language? Like fuss rodar, so we're just focusing on fuss, F-U-S. What does fuss mean? Okay, so it means force. Question 68. Which artist painted The Persistence of Memory? Okay, so it was Salvador Dali. Question 69. In mythology, who stole fire from the gods to give to mankind? Okay, so it was Prometheus. Question 70. Which ancient wonder was located in Babylon? Okay, so it was the Hanging Gardens. Question 71. Which mythological bird is reborn from its ashes? Okay, so it is the phoenix. Number 72. How many players are on a soccer team on the field at one time? How many players are on a soccer team on the field at one time? Okay, so it is 11. Question 73. Which country in Europe has the most volcanoes? Okay, so it is Iceland. It has a combination of 130 active and inactive volcanoes. Question 74. What is the technical term for a 40-40 score in tennis? Okay, so it is a deuce. Question 75. Which golf course cosmology. Question 79. Which element is represented by the letter K? Okay, so it is potassium. Question 80. Which video game takes place in the post-apocalyptic city of Rapture? Okay, so it is BioShock. Question 81. In what year did humans land on the moon? First land on the moon. Okay, so humans first landed on the moon in 1969. Question 82. Who directed the movie Citizen Kane? Okay, so it was Orson Welles. Question 83. In American football, how many points does a touchdown hold? Okay, so it is 6 points. Question 84. During which inning in baseball is Take Me Out to the Ball Game traditionally sung? During which inning? Okay, so it is the 7th inning. Question 85. What is the only planet in our solar system that spins on its side? Okay, so it is Uranus. Question 86. What is the largest ocean on Earth? Okay, so it is the Pacific Ocean. Question 87. What natural phenomenon is measured by a Richter scale? Okay, so it is earthquakes. Question 88. What joint in your arm is where the humerus, radius, and ulnar bones all meet? Okay, so it is your elbow. Question 89. What is the freezing point of water in Fahrenheit? Okay, so it is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Question 90. Who composed Symphony No. 9, also known as the Ode to Joy? Okay, so it was Beethoven. Question 91. In tennis, what piece of fruit is found at the top of the men's Wimbledon trophy? Okay, so it is a pineapple. Question 92. Who composed the music for the Nutcracker? Okay, so it was Tchaikovsky. Question 93. Which film won Best Picture at the 2020 Oscars? Okay, so it was Parasite. Question 94. Who wrote the novel Dune? Okay, so it was Frank Herbert. Question 95. What TV series is set in the fictional town of Hawkins in Indiana? The fictional town of Hawkins. Okay, so it is Stranger Things. Question 96. How many squares are on a standard chessboard? How many squares? Okay, so it is 64. Question 97. What is the world's longest river? Okay, so it is the Amazon River. Question 98. In the United Kingdom, what is the day after Christmas Day called? Okay, so it is Boxing Day. Question 99. What is the smallest ocean? Okay, so it is the Arctic Ocean. And the last question for today's video, question 100. What tree do acorns come from? Okay, so acorns come from an oak tree. So that is all of the 100 questions for today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video today.